Alright, MrSotko here, and welcome back to another Wargame Red Dragon replay cast. Today it is a 3 vs 3 on Highway to Seoul, the big version. And before I get started with the replay, just want to remind you guys that if you have a good replay that needs casted, go ahead and upload it to the website that is in the description down below. It's a website specifically for uploading Wargame replays, and even if you don't need a replay casted, it's a very good website to download replays from high-end players or whoever happens to upload, and so you can learn yourself to play. But we will get into this game here. So the large version of Highway to Seoul. On our right side, we have our red team that consists of Zahn Krygor, if I said that correctly, hopefully, Chief Yangwar, and Samuel T. Marnes, always with the hard names to pronounce, just to throw me off, I think. Now on the left side, the blue team, first Felix, Amram, and Kirk. And we will speed this up to the 10x mark till all the units come out, all the good stuff starts to happen. And so the much larger version than the smaller version just pretty much consists of this area here, but you can still go over here. Not much reason to in the small version other than to do a flank. But all the units are out and about now. We'll see what we are looking at. It looks like Chief going to be moving to the left side here. And not bringing too much with him. A lot of people just want to capture India, or rather Juliet first. It is this spot here on the smaller map. Juliet, or Alpha, before they bring in a lot of troops. That way they just come in a shorter distance and you just sort of capture it with a helicopter CV. And lots of stuff moving up the center here. Some ASU-85s. Not too much a Twardy there as well. Something you don't see all the time. And on the right side, we have Krygor moving over there. And ZTZs, Chonmaho, and a T-90S as well. The venerable T-90S. And we'll check this side here. Looks like we have Amram moving over to the left side here. Going to bring some troops initially. And going to wait for Foxtrot to be captured before he's going to be bringing in more troops through there. And we have Kirk moving over to Delta here. Going to try and defend that, and lots of stuff moving in Delta here. Leopard, Build Cat, and various troops going to be moving on in. But looks like our red team, Samuel, is already there with some Specialani Jednotki. I said that correctly, didn't I? I bet I did. And the Puff flying around, looking for some radar here. But doesn't look like he's going to find it. Nothing good over there to chuck your seed missiles at. Chaparral's in the HA, moving into Echo. But the Akula awaits and mangling things coming in here. Going to lose a Chaparral. And I did not see what else was lost there. A troop carrier or a vehicle. I don't know what that was. And so far, so good. A +1 advantage for our blue team, as they do have Alpha over here. Didn't capture that till just now. Now zeroed it out. And Mott shoots and moving into the wood line here. But tons of troops await them. Need to get inside the wood line and secure themselves. A Twardy here firing away at the troops as they are vulnerable on the edge there, and busting them one at a time here. And Leopards on the side going to be firing away into the wood line and taking out all of the troop carriers. And the Mott shoots and going to try and brave the distance here. And it looks like they're out of sight range for now from the Leopards. And they will make it into the wood line, but going to get peppered up at first there. And looks like it was a Wildcat that was destroyed over there. And Mott shoots and instantly wrecked by the Leopard. He did get in sight range for a moment there. And all killed up. The T-90 here moving up. Going to be sitting in the edge of the wood line, awaiting, ready to pounce on what have you. may show their face. The Crotal's in a little danger and may be in range there. The Chomaho finishes off the Crotal. And now troops pouring in here from Amram to try and take the right side. And Krygor moving in the right side from Lima. And still zeroed out between these two teams. And BRDM and Rangers watching the far side. Not too much going on there just yet. We have a CV troop coming in via chopper, and looks like they're going to land in India and take that. Could be a +2 advantage for our red team should they do that. However, we have some CV troops going to be moving into the edge of Delta, so that will give them that first +2 advantage. And so India will just pretty much even the game out for now. And additional Rolands moving up here for some anti-air. And Chomaho is trying to push their way across, and the ZTZ-85 too. And doing a good job of that so far. The Chomaho is savagely messed up. 1 bar of health left on that. Should be smoldering by now. And Ettentard fires on that ZTZ and takes that out. Legion's now in the woodline here, but still getting shot by troops and the tank. And looks like they'll be inside there and hidden good and deep in them woods now. Smirch firing away, and what is it trying to hit? Looks like it's going to jack this Abrams up pretty bad here, and took a number of hits, but it doesn't look like it's going to get taken out. Down to 1 bar of health, but it did take out some other things there. Didn't see what it took out. What is it? And looks like another IP there. Still a +2 advantage for our blue team as they've taken Bravo, Alpha, Delta, and Foxtrot in the back there. And another CV is incoming for our blue team soon. And there it comes now. Going to be landing there. Going to give them a +4 advantage if our red team doesn't catch up. It will be losing very, very quickly. Here we go. Another CV going to be coming into Mike, but that still will only leave them at a +2 advantage once these two are captured. And the Ettentard is coming along. And cruising. What is its target gonna be? And lots of leopards moving up as well. And Ettentard gonna fire away at something. There's a ZTZ that would make a nice juicy target, but it does not find a target and is forced to fly out of there. But either way, it did not take any damage, nor was destroyed, so no foul there. Conqueror's trying to move up the line, but they're in sort of a shady spot. And I'm going to try and fire at the carrier here. And a worthy kill for the Conquerors. That will be game-changing. And the NM-106 here firing at Conquerors. And they're taking some direct hits. And won't last much longer, just 1 man. And this one may finish him off. Nope. He's going to have to fire a couple more times here. This one looks like it's kind of on target. And doesn't quite get him, but the recon here will finish those off, no problem. And now both sides are in each other's faces here in Delta. And either side that moves is going to take a beating here. The Conqueror's all out of missiles. If we have a 2 T-772 Wilkes moving up. And they can't get too close there. Lost sight of those troops. Don't want to get too close and get shot in the face with that Eric's. And we have another Ettentard here. Moving on in and see what's going to try and get. The Chomaho is visible. And the ZTZ has just been finished off. So now the Ettentard pretty much can go for that Choma. And that would be a pretty big bonus there for the blue team to take out both of those tanks. And here goes the missile now. And misses. A very unfortunate miss there to take out that Choma. Would be pretty nice. And there would be no more armor in the area other than this T-90, which I suppose makes up for a lack of armor pretty much anywhere by itself, as it is a pretty good tank. Just only thing it's missing is those good old Russian ATGMs that are on every single Russian tank for the most part. F-16 now moving in. MLU looking for some trouble. Not gonna find it though. Everything is hidden on this side at the moment. And a Draken coming in. And we have an attack marker here for our blue team. Kirk has the CV marked and going to be dropping here. He may drop a little too far, though. He had the marker right here. And will get it, though. +2 advantage for our blue team. Now 175 to 1. And it looks like some additional ATGMs now moving on in. And a Nighthawk now moving in. America, fuck yeah. Now coming in. That just kind of reminds me of that song. As soon as you see the Nighthawk, fuck yeah. And there it goes. Dropping on the poor VDV. They are going to get hammered here. And looks like a direct impact. And bye-bye, VDV. Nighthawk, one of my favorite planes in the game. I suppose that's pretty much everybody's favorite in the game for the most part. It may not be your favorite, but you got to admit it is pretty good. And another MLU here moving in. And what is it going to get, though? I don't really see too much on the ground here. And really no targets for it. These Wilkes here could be attacked. There isn't too many anti-air in the field here. And we do have a Strop, but it's only got one Igla at the moment. And the MLU spots the Wilkes and fires. Gets one of them. And the FLAs here fire. And didn't notice those FLAs, so that MLU is totally screwed. And I think I even looked at him too, and I'm like, this is the only A in the area here. Totally passed over those, but that does happen from time to time. I'm sure somebody in the comments could be like, you can't believe you missed the FLAs. Somebody's got to do it. I know somebody's got to do it. Now you just have to. Now you have to put it in the comments. Raven here moving on in. And going after those FLAs. But their radar currently off. I'm not going to find too much there. And Raven, easily one of the best seed planes in the game, has 60% ECM, which is pretty much makes you just about immune to rocket-based attacks. Mudshoots moving forward and taking some mortar hits here, and not going to last too long with all of these troops here firing on him. And the wood line. And T-72S has managed to make itself move itself up into the short little hedgerow here. Technically not a hedgerow, just a tree line, but I like to call them hedgerows, as I'm a fan of the World War II and company heroes. And World War II certainly had a lot of hedgerows, at least France did. Now a +2 advantage for our blue team. They did have a +3 until this was neutralized, so now our red team really has to catch up here. +2 advantage. Has to capture 2 points to just even it out. Even taking Delta entirely, or rather just forcing them out, or neutralizing it would bring it to a 0-0. Forcing out this commando in the back would give them a +2, but that's going to be easier said than done with all of this in their way. T-90S is still alive over here. And a Leclerc in front of that with multiple, with a Leopard 2A1. Which is not going to be too much of a threat to the T-90. Another Edentard here moving in. And the Nighthawk moving in. America! Nighthawk! And somebody needs to make a song about the Nighthawk. Just like take the South Park song, or rather the Team America song, and just sort of turn it into Nighthawk. That'd be really interesting. Raven moving ahead here. I don't think it's getting anything. I don't really see any radar. Oh, the OSA back here could be hit, but doesn't really know that that exists. And the Raven tossing out those countermeasures with that 60% ECM, which basically makes it immune. And it actually took a hit there and took another hit. A very unlucky Raven there. Now, I didn't say it couldn't be killed, but 60% ECM is pretty good. Very good, to say the least. Conquer's one missile left, and the missile explodes on the ground right in front of them. Terrible, terrible shots those men are. What, first time with the new Conquers, or what, guys? Most likely the unit they were attacking was destroyed and the missile just sort of hit the ground, but still, funny to think of it otherwise. Chasseurs going at it here. And VPN firing at the Bo Changsu, and they will not last too much longer here. No, direct hit finally finishes them off. And Commandos pair are going to be meeting the Hyundai. And PTZ 89 moving on up. And Leclerc right in front of it, though. PTZ 89, basically no armor, 5 armor, but 21 frontal damage. Or rather, 21 AP power. But gets finished off by the Leclerc in one hit. The PTZ 89, such a great weapon, but it is made of paper. And Nighthawk flying overhead here, launching at Mott, shoots in and finishes those off, and their carriers. Not too big of a kill there, but still didn't really cost them all that much there, just a temporary Nighthawk. Left side still pretty lame over here. Nothing going on. Kind of hard to assault Juliet from this side here, as it's fairly easy to defend overall. There actually isn't a lot defending it, and if they didn't know, if they knew how little there was over here, it could probably actually just push forward some troops and tanks, but there also isn't a lot to actually push forward over here either from Felix. Mostly just trying to hold and take Echo here. Really, this is just to hold this area and to hold Juliet, but there's virtually nothing in Juliet to hold it. The BRDM is just watching over the area here, and if anything pushes forward, then he can actually just call things in from right here, so it's not going to be too big of a deal if something does try to push. Now, the Eagle here going to be dropping, and will be taken out by the SV-27 and the OSAs, but it does get off its bombs, and the Deagle really rock stuff there, and the Gornostroki done. And now a +1 advantage for our red team, neutralizing Hotel there and Delta, and also taking Echo as the TACOM just now trying to get in there, so that will take away that advantage once they get inside Echo, and we'll zero it out once again. And Chasseurs trying to defend themselves here from these troop carriers. And mortars raining in on them, and that one's going to hit almost right. Oh, we thought that was the one that's going to come down right on him. But losing men slowly here. Panzer Grenadiers moving in, and Fallschirmjägers. And moving in on these BTR-60s. And so far, neither player really pressing too much in Hotel. AMRAM pressing a little bit here, but if he gets to the edge, that PGZ-95 might be able to hit there. That's probably under 1,000, and the T-90 here would mangle them in the face, but the Fallschirmjägers could come down on that T-90 there and possibly side shot it. But I'm not sure if they would be able to get the drop on it. It may see them in turn. And Type 63 cleverly hidden all the way over here and hitting things in the back, and now pushing forward, and may actually spot this CV group in the back, which would give them control of Hotel and a +1 advantage. And this Type 63 may be the hero of the game if it can take those out. And Chasseurs is now moving up here and going to try and slowly chip away at these Chasseurs, but he should be able to make it into range in time. But the Type 63 here is just going to back out. Smoke now going down on the CV, which is sort of a dead giveaway that that CV is there. However, it will defend the CV from the Type 63 at the same time. So I'm expecting some mortars if he was clever and coming down there. As you kind of know, that they're smoking that for a reason. And here comes some mortars now, not hitting that exact place. Looks like he was trying to counter barrage those mortars there. But so far that CV will stay alive. And now Red pushing into Delta a little bit more. Has some units all spread out around, and Commandozi all set up. And artillery coming in all over here, all over that CV, but misses all of it. Tomcat coming in to the danger zone and going to be retreating out of there. Doesn't get any kills. Gets a couple hits, 1 or 2 hits there on that Su-27. Su-27 will also get out. MLU now moving in here, and a T-80, 2 T-80As are vulnerable, and it is moving right at them. And we'll see if that is the target or not. I'd imagine so. And here comes some missiles. One goes at the, some go at the BMPTs, and that was probably not quite intended. I would have certainly preferred to see the T-80s go down, but looks like that MLU misses everything. Here comes a Hornet now, and this is sort of my anti-tank of choice. I always have a Hornet, and most of my decks, my US and multinational decks, really enjoy the Hornet. Really gets the job done most of the time. Nighthawk now coming in, and what is it going to be? Bomb, and it looks like he's going after the BMPTs from getting in the line there, and wasn't quite necessary. Going to be bombing the ground there, and was way late. And BRDM actually trying to push forward and get some troop kills there. Looks like some Rangers went down, and BRDM really not going to be able to push forward too much more. There's an IP in the back there. And now Red really pushing in here, and has made it all the way to here, and pushing some choppers, trying to take down some troops here on the edge. Puff now coming in, and almost gets an MI8 rather, and loses the Puff, so didn't really do too much there at all. And there really just isn't much AA here. AA would be really nice right about now to take out some of these choppers that were harassing him, but looks like they're all out of rockets now anyway. And Luzandwai moving in and going after the Fallschirmjägers in the wood line. T-90 still going strong here, just alive and well. And some artillery coming in after the Luzandwai, but missing pretty dramatically there. And Tiger now on the right side, taking out the BTR 152s. And the Jukwide moving through the wood line here. Going to spot the Chasseurs soon, but all the air power in the area should be able to spot that. The Tiger really out of cluster rockets there, so not going to be able to do too much there. Or rocket pods, whatever, what have you, however you want to put it, I suppose. And so far, Red doing a pretty good job here, Samuel, of pushing his opponent out slowly but surely by the looks of it, and taking out some of the various armored units. There really isn't too much armor left. We have a Leopard now moving in, but only a 70 cost Leopard, so not going to do all that much there. 17 frontal or AP power, so that does a decent amount, but the T-72S here has 18, so he's going to have to be closer than maximum range, but if he was right here, he'd be able to do that anyway. BTR-90 tried to push up, but the IP is in a pretty good spot, and that looks like it took out one of those BTR-90s. And BMD-3s in the back here getting hit by the IP as well, and not launching those Conkers, not in sight of each other. And another Twardy on the way here, and a T-72, two T-72Ss, say that 10 times fast, and a PT-91 Twardy on the way to Delta to continue pushing out his opponent here. So he'll have quite a bit of armor in the area. Would have about 4 T-72 overall, and that Twardy, which is a fairly nice Polish super heavy. The only problem with that is it's 20 frontal armor, so the frontal armor not too great, but still a pretty good tank for its cost of only 160 and 22 AP power, which is enough to penetrate just about anything. except for, I suppose, the Challenger 2. But as long as you're just even remotely within close range of max range, you'd be able to penetrate it anyway. This wouldn't do too much damage. Blue Zandwagon going to be moving in here to the edge of the forest line. And looks like the smoke is really working in his favor. I'm not sure who smoked all of this, if it was red or not. Kind of missed that. ZTZ's moving up the line here. ZTZ3 and a ZTZ2. Moving on up to the east side, get themselves a piece of the pie. And Choma moving up. Bochangsu also trying to get into the line of the forest. And that CV is right here, and the Jukwide are pretty close, but if they move out, that Tiger is going to have a field day with those Jukwide, and they're getting hit directly with artillery anyway. And now rocket pods hit the Choma. And we will come back to that push in a moment. We'll check the other spots. Not too many pushes going on here for red on this side. And pretty much stuck at each other, but still Delta pushing a little bit more every time I come around. Now 3 T-62s there in the line, and looks like all of those tanks have made their way up there. Multiple T-72s, and where is that Twardy? Don't see where it went. Oh, it's all the way in the back there. And that CV's in a little bit of trouble. It's getting bombed at the moment. Fibow moving on in here and using that as an ASF right now. Gets the Ettentard. And Flak Panzer has turned off its radar, now firing stingers, but misses that Fibow. And help has been called by Amram, as he is losing Hotel pretty bad at the moment. ZTZ3 taking a lot of Milans and gets hit by the Fallschirmjäger with their Panzerfaust 3. And ZTZ 85, didn't get to fire another time. May have finished off that whole Fallschirmjäger squad. And now the CV here in trouble, spotted by the Choma. And we'll lose that in just a moment. And down to one man, one more hit. Choma slowly reloading there. Now a +1 advantage for our red team, has successfully pushed his opponent for the most part out of Hotel. Some Panzer Grenadiers and Fallschirmjägers there in the line. But not going to do too much with those, mostly just for ambush purposes at the moment. And now Delta is in even more trouble. Every time I come to look at Delta, he's an inch closer. Sort of like those ghosts on Super Mario Brothers. Whenever you look away, they get a little bit closer. And Echo still fairly well neutralized on both sides. Neither side really moving much there. However, Delta not looking too good here for our blue team. Spetsnaz now moving up the left side. Multiple T-62s, 3 of them from Chief. And as soon as those get to the edge of the wood line, that would be a lot of damage coming out here. He should split those, though, as it seems like only one of them is at the front of the line. Usually better off splitting your troops, except for when you're in a town. Usually that's pretty optimal, is 3 troops rather than 4. 4 gives them more health, of course, as they have more people to lose, but 3 is usually the optimal way, depending on your situation. If you're totally surrounded, then 4 is pretty good, as 3 can only fire one side at a time. So if you have people all surrounded around you or on multiple sides, then 4 works just fine. But 3 is usually a pretty good bet, pretty good safe bet for towns. But once you're fighting out in the open, you usually want to spread things out so they don't take too much damage. And also, you kind of run into this situation where these T-72s here are at the edge of the line, and this one is all the way in the back, so this one will not be able to fire because it's too far back in the woods. But if you split those, then you could actually set them up so that they're just all on the edge of the line there. And 3 more T-62s moving up the line as well. So 6 of them all pushing forward here in Delta. Looks like Delta is going to be hurting pretty bad here. Hornet coming in, and it's going to take some lives. And going to fire on those T-62s. Nope. And hit some BMPs. Doesn't really get any particularly critical targets. Hotel now totally overran, and Delta soon to follow. And 6 T-62s moving up. Going to be a lot of damage still. Would like to see those split up. Twardy now moving up the side and moving ever so closer. And Hornet comes in, takes out 2 of those T-62s, so that was a much better bet there. And the Hornet takes a little bit of damage, but nothing too crazy. And the T-62 backs up. This one is still in the back of the woods here, and still 3 in the front. Akula pushing up, and going to be going after some targets here, but it doesn't get anything too particularly crazy. The Akula now going to be firing away on the Falsgrams here, and just going to back up for now. The K-52 spotting for it. The Akula doing the damage. You grab the ankles, I'll grab the wrists. The KA team there tracking, moving on in, and going to be dropping on all these troops here. So this is going to be a pretty good bombing run. Going to take out 10 MrSotko and their vehicle. Doesn't really get any of the recon troops, but not too bad. Couldn't really ask for all that much more than that. MrSotko has pushed up their commandos right here. Should be visible here by these MrSotko, and possibly some mortars coming in sooner or later here, since those were spotted. I'd imagine that they were spotted anyway. Looks like the Nonas here firing away, and are they firing on the commandos or the STRV-105? And looks like it is the commandos, or no, going to be firing on the edge here. Looks like he was trying to get the CV as he imagined that it would be over here, but it is not. It is right here. And Hornet and the Nighthawk now coming in. Hornet's going to try and take out some vehicles, but most of them all hidden away, just can't really get a hold of anything, and takes out those troops there on the edge of the wood line. Grippin now moving on in and tries to take out the K-52 or the Akula, but gets himself taken out by all of those FLAs. And now pushing into Gulf to some degree here, just a Leclerc and some various troops here. Not even a lot of troops at the edge of the wood line to defend once they come to the edge here of this wood line, or rather in the edge of the town to defend this wood line here. So these are just going to sort of walk right in there. There is a Leclerc there, but these 2 ZTZ-85s are so close that they're going to do big damage to that Leclerc. And even regardless of the Leclerc's fast attack speed, oh, he actually does take out the ZTZs. So very nice, well played Leclerc, but not going to last too much longer. The Chomaho finishes that off, as it was just so close range that it was taking massive damage. Commando still chilling there and doing just fine. Anti-air here firing away at those Pumas that were up in the air, or whatever those were, troop choppers, one way or another. And now the troops now moving into the town here. Lu Zandwai going to be taking the town, and Bo Chong-su as well. Chomaho's going to try to take the flank, and the commandos are right there, and there's really nothing to defend this at the moment. So we have some troops coming over here, but these troops really need to get down into Gulf, but at the same time they need to get to Delta 2 to defend that. So Blue right now is in some pretty bad shape. 2 Hornets flying around now, and the MLU, so there is a lot of air to ground going around. Looks like a total of 12 Mavericks in the sky right now, and that would be enough to kill a lot of stuff, but there's just so much anti-air here, and every time he gets in the area, 2 Tunguskas, an FLA, all in the sky there. And the new 3 Nuwas as well, all 4,550 meter range, basically like a hawk. B5 here dropping, and going to be dropping on the edge of the town, and may take out the whole CV here. Just 2 men left in that CV, but the Lu Zandwai should be able to finish that off no problem. And 1 man left will lose Gulf now, so that'll be 2 points lost for our blue team. We'll give him a +3 advantage, +3 advantage for our red team now, and we'll be cruising up the way here. So they were losing by 300 points, now going to be catching up pretty quickly here. So a pretty tense game for both sides right now, and they really need to keep that +3 advantage. They have a long time to go in the game. The game could potentially, oh, talking is so hard, 26 more minutes. And PT91 Twardy is at the edge of the woodline here in a pretty good spot. Did get a couple of shots off on those Panzer bills, but didn't really quite get any of the Commandozi. Should be able to finish those off though, no problem. And Scott's going to be moving forward. Everybody firing away. Dushkas versus 50 cals here. Or is that the caliber of a Dushka? 14.5? I thought it was like 14.7. Not really sure. Can't remember now. But the Dushka fires a hardy round indeed, and I'm sure there's much more modern things with the Dushka, but I just call it the Dushka because I am a fan of World War II, and the Russians' machine gun, heavy machine gun, was the Dushka, which is a bigger round than the 50 cal. It's actually 8 millimeters longer than the 50 cal. No, so the 14.5 millimeter would not be the Dushka. The Dushka was 50 cal, but it's 8 millimeters longer, so it wouldn't be the Dushka. 14. Never mind me. I'm just all over the place. So the Dushka is 50 cal, but just a longer bullet. And for some reason in Company Heroes 2, which I also cast, you guys are a fan of that game as well, but does not a lot in Company of Heroes, and it's very, very disappointing. Doesn't do more damage than the 50 cal or the MG42, which is an 8mm Mauser, which is a very, very good bullet. But the Dushka should do way more than it does in the game. So Amram has left the game as they feel that they are entirely losing, which is the case at the moment. Certainly not over just yet. Could win the game, but going to be very, very hard. Delta is completely and utterly overrun by red now. Just the edge here is the only thing that withstands. I'm surprised it's even still going. All of this stuff could be pushed up and could easily take over Delta here, as there really just isn't a lot left. We have STRV 105s here moving in, and they are firing away, but getting pummeled here by rocket pods, and the Commandozi also firing on them as well. And finishes all of those STRV 105s off. And now the Chaparral should be taken out here. Another few waves coming in. It's stunned, and no more Chaparral either, so no more anti-air there. Really the only thing guarding this is some Falsgrim, some SMAs, and a couple of LVTP 781s, which are very, very good vehicles, but not going to cut it. And it doesn't look like any new CVs are coming up here to take Golf. Not really quite necessary with a +3 anyway. And Tomcat coming in here and getting into the danger zone. And finishes that off there. And now flying away and getting all kinds of peppered up. T90 has pushed all the way up front here. Somehow hasn't even been destroyed at all. Foxtrot now taken out. +4 advantage for our red team. Here comes a couple Hornets. And going to be flying on in. And should be able to take out all of these T62s. I would be very disappointed if those Hornets did not. And missed every shot. And looks like they're just going to pass them up. And not even sure where the Hornets are going. And gets pummeled there by multiple rockets, and now the other one taken out as well. So just pretty much suicide Hornets. We do have a CV coming in here for Golf, so that would give them a +6 advantage, but I think that is going to do it. Our red team has caught up from pretty much 0 to over 300 right at the end of the game there, so very well played on both sides. Very well played for the blue team for getting that incredible advantage right at the beginning, and very well played for the red team for surpassing their disadvantage. I hope you guys enjoyed the replay, and I'll see you guys next time.